Hello and welcome back after, 2 weeks of Wildcat Podcast? 3, 4? I don't know.
I think it's been like a
2
month.
months.
Yeah.
We were supposed to have one last week, but Mr. Moore said no more.
He was busy.
He said no more.
Every week.
We've been busy too.
Yeah, we've been busy with district stuff. I still expect my check in full. So this is...
Getting paid?
No.
He's getting paid in experience.
Exposure.
That too.
Exposure bucks.
So we're here to do one last senior memory, assuming we don't do one like Wednesday to get even more people. So today we have Jessica Rist and Hannah Hayden.
Hello.
And normally we'd have around 3 or 4 people, but since we only have 2, they're going to tell more stories than what's required. So whoever wants to start, go ahead.
I first moved here 9 weeks into freshman year, and the first thing I remember is we're going to a band competition. I wasn't in the actual marching competition because I didn't know the show, obviously.
But she still had to go.
Yeah, because it's a requirement. And the thing I remember, I don't remember if it was on the way there or on the way back. Caleb Fredrickson.
I think it was the way there.
Yeah, I was sitting with Hannah, and Caleb was watching Pitch Perfect, which is the best. And I was just like kind of watching like across, like, oh, hey, I know this movie. And then we're like, hey, can you unplug your headphones so we can listen too? And those were my first friends, so yeet.
And we're still your friends now, so that's
and
pretty cool.
we're moving in together.
Yep. So excited.
Without Easton.
Without
That's what you think.
Oh, wait. Wait a second. I gotta get
Excuse me,
another
what?
bedroom. Wait.
He can live in the basement, it's fine. He's our
My precious.
Oh, not again.
gross.
Don't worry, we'll edit that out.
Thank goodness.
And then we'll edit back in like the most appropriate times.
No. Your turn.
Okay, so I'm sure everyone's heard about Sutherland before.
No, not on this podcast.
How do you think that this segment was
yeah.
started?
Okay,
Yesterday's sunset, oh my god.
so real quick, I'm gonna
Oh my
interrupt
God.
you.
Go ahead.
The entire reason why we had this Senior Memories podcast is because we had an idea of bringing the seniors in to tell their stories about Sutherland because no one else got to experience him. And Mr.
goodness
Moore
gracious.
absolutely did not like us bashing a former teacher. So I said, well, what if I brought in a bunch of seniors and I asked them to share memories? I can't help what... He goes, well, I can't help what they remember. So here we are.
So I'm not gonna get in trouble for this, right?
No.
He was
Thank
definitely a prick.
We accept
Okay.
no responsibility or liability to any of those claims, though.
We cannot help what you remember. That's the slogan.
That's good.
Yes.
Well,
You can put a graphic in there.
Sutherland called my mom one time.
Yeah.
I didn't like that too much. We were in class and everything. We were reading The Crucible, which we took like 3 months to read.
It was the
I don't even know
It
if
took a
I'm
entire
month.
time that he
exaggerating
was
on
there,
It
pretty
took
much.
a week to read one
essentially the whole
chapter.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we were sitting there reading it and everything, and he went on tangents a lot of bunny trails, a lot of we're brainstorming here, lots of the sunrise over Bentley. I'm sure all of you have heard of that before.
But you'd have to go and drive backwards to see if you're making your way to Newport or to Haven.
Well, essentially, he was going on one of those tangents again. And I'm like, hey, do you mind if we get back to the book? And he, stares me down. He says no. And then I'm like, okay. So, it's later that night. I'm about to go homecoming dress shopping with a friend and my mom gets a call. And she's on the phone for 15 minutes with him telling her basically that I'm really disrespectful and everything. And I'm sure most people who know me know that I'm not very disrespectful at all. And if I am, it's not without good reason. So, that was my Sutherland story. Called my
How
mother.
did your mom react to this?
She was she asked me about what had happened, and I told her, and she's like, well, it is his classroom, you need to respect him. And I'm like, mother, you don't understand. And then she's like, well, just don't do it again. And so I didn't. And
Sutherland
Yep.
stories.
Sutherland.
His first day with us, he had us do this little icebreaker kind of bee. Anyway, it was the first day of school. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to dress up real cute. And so I had this flannel shirt, and it had, like, strings across my chest. And he stared. And
The entire time.
I had a jacket, thank God, and I just wore that the rest of the day, and I felt like I wanted to cry. Sutherland stories!
Yay!
Yay!
If we ever wanted to ensue that a teacher would never find a job again, that's
I
how
hope
we did
not.
it.
I mean,
We're
Anyway.
not talking about that at all.
Easton, do you have memories?
I have a lot, and I've shared a lot.
Well, we haven't.
The last day
seen a
that
lot.
Sutherland was here, this was during a band competition.
Oh,
So you guys were all gone.
Oh, thank God.
He didn't really want to teach anything since everyone was gone. He felt, and I quote, he felt that they wouldn't understand what was going on when they returned. Even though if we had continued, we would probably still be on 2 words from where we started. So he said, all right, well, let's just read. And I said, well, then I don't have a book. Can I just go grab one from the library? And he goes, no. And I said, okay, what am I supposed to read? He goes, those cabinets in the back that are still in Galen's, he opens it, and I swear, boxes of books just come falling out. And I'm like, okay. He reaches into the pile, grabs a book, he goes, here. It was The Hunt for Red October. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to read all of this. I did not read a chapter because he was just talking and talking and talking. I also remember in the beginning of the year, with the icebreaker things, he would spend, almost a week with one person.
Oh my
Oh, yeah.
gosh,
And
no.
then he got to me, he said, so what do you like? I said, oh, I like this stuff, this stuff. He goes, all right, cool, walks off. I'm like, okay.
My gosh. I swear, he was so interested in the book I was reading.
The only good thing about his class is you got a nice nap. If you can tune out his voice.
Yeah, I don't remember getting anything done in his portion of the class. And then he had us write these big ol' essays.
Big ol'
We
essay.
were taught how to write essays in 3 different ways that
Mm-hmm.
year.
How long was Mauder our teacher?
She was the teacher for the rest of the
I
semester.
can't
Up
remember
until-
how many weeks that was, though.
He
It,
left in November,
November, so a few months.
about 2,
She taught us way more.
even
In
though
that
she was
small
gone
time.
most
Yeah.
of the time. Okay, let's go away from Sutherland.
Anyway.
So,
What do you
Let's talk
remember
about-
from sophomore year?
I don't remember what year this was actually, but I have a band memory.
Go for it.
So, in band, we took this trip. I think it was Oklahoma City.
Oh, I got separated so bad.
And we were having a lot of fun. We were with Shores, and he was like, you know what, let's go to this dinner theater. And so
That sounds
when we were
interesting.
planning it out, we all planned to go to the dinner theater, right? And we get there, and we're like, okay, this is got a cool vibe. We kind of like this. So we sit down, and they give us food, and we start eating. And normally with dinner theater, you're supposed to be eating while you're watching the theater,
Mhm.
correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone was done with their food by the time they started.
So it's basically popcorn in the theaters. You're done by the time the movie
Basically.
starts.
Yeah, essentially. And that was, we're like, okay, maybe they're just having a few difficulties or something. So it starts out, and we're sitting there for hours watching this. Before intermission. Intermission, they give us dessert. And once everyone's done with dessert, then we get back to
Starts
it.
again.
We expected to only be there for I don't know, 2 hours, 3 hours. And we
Yeah.
were there for 5 hours. So we didn't get back to our hotel until 10:30, and lights out was supposed to be at 10?
Yeah.
So we didn't get back in a lot of time. And now any band member, if you say
Yellow Rose.
Yellow Rose Theater,
Ugh.
Ugh. We get chills because it's awful, and
I'm
we
gonna
hate
try
it.
that.
But the one guy, one of the cowboys was heckin' hot, right?
He had a
hat
man
fell
bun.
off. His hat fell off, and everyone in the theater was like, "Aw," because he had a man bun. And like, oof. First of all,
Only some people can pull off a man bun.
and he could not.
Yeah, he was not one of those.
And it was also freezing in there.
Yeah, it was really cold.
Like they were trying to make you leave because it was cold.
Yeah, nobody wanted to be there towards the end. Even the sponsors were like talking to us and were like, "When is this gonna end? We need to get out of here."
You're here forever.
So we ended up getting to have lights out a little bit later that night, but we didn't have any downtime in the evening like we normally would to go swimming or anything like
The
that.
Yellow Rose
Play
is now
Cards
your
Against
home.
Oh, never again. Never again.
I'm gonna try that.
It was like
during
a
lunch
cowboy themed show.
It was.
It was
I don't even
excellent.
remember
I don't
what
remember the
happened.
plot.
I just
stopped
remember
paying
the hat falling
attention.
off.
I forgot about that until you said something.
It's the only thing I remember.
Where was this?
I think Oklahoma City.
I'm gonna Google that place now.
Oh no.
I wonder if it's anything
It's
like
another
the Dolly Parton Country Stampede or whatever it was.
Dixie
called.
Stampede.
Dixie
I think it's
Stampede,
now
that's what it
called Dolly Stampede.
was. Dolly Stampede now.
Yeah, I've never been there, but like every band trip before us that had been there when they went to that city. So
It's good over in Branson. It's
Mm-hmm.
pretty good. I don't
Branson
remember
is
the
fun.
show, but I remember the food.
I've heard lots of good things about Dolly Stampede. It's really hard saying Dolly Stampede. I'm used to saying
Yep,
Dixie
that's it.
Stampede, but no, never again.
They have a show tomorrow.
Yeah.
They have a show on the 10th. Do you guys want to go?
I'm sorry, I'm busy. I have.
3 hours.
Do I
of
get
day.
compensation?
Do I get paid to go there?
I don't think you'd pay me enough.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
Okay.
away from bad things, what
Okay.
are good things we remember?
Well, that was my story. It's your turn.
I don't know anything. Easton, what do you remember?
Not much. I do remember that this is hard not to remember because it just happened.
Oh.
My older brother's wedding just
Oh
happened.
no.
Yeah. It's not bad in any way, but
Oh, okay.
it was just over the
I
weekend.
was like,
It was.
he was like speaking like
It was.
ominous.
I remember it was really hot because me and the groomsmen were facing away from the sun, but it's not good when you're wearing a full monkey suit. That's what we call suits in the family.
Well, that's what we call our uniforms.
And there's that dread when you feel your back starting to sweat. Like once it starts, it doesn't stop.
Oh.
So like we need to wrap this up. So there was that. Otherwise, it was a good time.
I've had quite a few good weddings, but there's also been some really bad weddings that I just wanted to get out of. I had to go with my mom to a wedding once for someone from work, and I sat there playing checkers on her iPad the whole time.
I thought you meant like
That was a long
from
time
our
ago.
work.
No.
That wedding was really fun.
That was.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily senior
Mexican weddings, fam. Holy mother.
memory. You get a...
Fun.
Oh my gosh, and how Manny danced with everyone.
Yeah.
We're getting off topic.
Hey, it's a memory.
It's a memory.
It's a memory.
Do you have any memories of teachers who are no longer here, other than Sutherland?
Shores.
Oh, I love Mr. Shores. Did he ever tell you about Jim's wife?
No.
So he said he was on a band trip at this one time, and he walks by this room, and this guy's coming out, and the way that the hotel room was set up, you could see into the restroom if the door was open.
That's not a good.
And Jim's wife was in the restroom without clothes on. And Jim started walking out the door, and as Shores was walking through, and he just glanced around like he was looking around like any normal person would, and he saw it, and he's like... And then Jim's wife yelled, "Jim!" And that's how he knew it was Jim's wife. And then they went down to breakfast later. Shores was heading down to breakfast, and he was getting in line, getting the food and everything. And Jim Jim's in line next to him or across from him or something, and they make eye contact, and Jim just nods. And that's the story of Jim's wife.
I think I only have one memory of Shores. This was back in grade school because I was only in band for like half a year during grade school in 6th grade. I remember the last week I was there, I just didn't want to tell them that I was quitting. I played baritone at the time, so I just sat behind my baritone case for like an entire week.
Oh.
Just chilling there. Because I didn't want to tell them that I was quitting.
Yeah,
That's
that was
fair.
always really hard to... Like, you don't want to disappoint Shores. Shores is like...
I don't think he
great
really
guy.
knew me that much, so he didn't really sound at all disappointed. He's like, okay, see ya.
Okay.
Wow.
Bye.
All right.
Ooh, another thing. Encore freshman year with Huey. The only thing I remember from that show is Meow, where
no.
the entire chorale, we were all women at the time because no guys wanted to sing because that's not cool. Anyway, and it wasn't because meow. We wore headbands that had cat
no.
ears on them
Oh,
and
no.
black everything.
It's coming back.
And like, yeah.
I remember
yeah,
seeing
it
it on
is.
the
It's
TV
coming back.
outside.
Cringy. So bad. So bad. And she's like, oh no, it's going to be fun.
No, it's not.
We all wanted to die.
Well, another thing about a band trip. It was my freshman year, and
Where did we go?
it was with Shores. We went to, I think that was OKC.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it was
okay.
Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
So it was
That was
Oklahoma
the only
City
year I'd ever
stories.
had. That was the only year I'd
Oklahoma
ever had
City
shows.
was rough. Wasn't that the year that Matt Perkins got his Xbox or PlayStation stolen from his room and taken to a different room?
Yeah.
So there was this big
They
feud
were
amongst
freaking out.
amongst the guys. But my actual story from Oklahoma City is nobody liked one of our sponsors, Barb. So we've been on this charter bus for hours. Well, only a few hours, but we've been on a charter bus for hours. We're all tired. We all just want to get into the hotel so we can sit somewhere comfortable and, I don't know, take a nap, get settled, walk around because we've been sitting for a long time. And we get there and we just want to get off the bus, and Barb won't let us. Even though Shores said we could, Barb would not let us off the bus. She could speak loud enough to, for all of us to hear her, but she insisted on using a microphone. That was not necessary. And one of the seniors started a chant from the back of the bus. And nobody got in trouble for this, by the way, just saying. It was F you, Barb. And yeah, it was... Everyone had a lot of fun after that, but Barb was a little too much, a little extra.
That same trip, remember the tornado warning?
Oh,
and
yeah.
we could not leave.
Yeah, we all had to
At
sit in the
all?
lobby of the hotel until we decided whether we could go or not. Yeah. I remember taking walks over to Walmart. We just had
Yeah.
to tell a sponsor, and then we could just walk across the street to Walmart.
Like, hey,
It was
we're
a lot
gonna
of
leave
fun.
now. Ciao.
We'll be back, probably.
Maybe.
Yeah, it
Here's
was,
a pre-made missing poster if we go missing. Here you go.
but
Just in
nobody
case.
did go missing. Everyone got back,
We've
and
never
everything
gone
was
missing.
fine. But
And speaking of former teachers, this was 2 years ago when Gear was still here.
oh my
yeah.
gosh, Gear!
Nobody
Anyone
actually
who had
listened to
Gear,
him.
it's hard to forget him. So
Yeah.
this was his last year teaching here, so he really didn't care. He let us do a lot of things that he probably shouldn't have. We watched War Dogs. We watched nearly every movie that
Boss
came out.
Baby.
Boss Baby, we watched that.
Yeah, my class watched Get Out, and I can't remember what else they watched because every time that they would be watching a movie, I had some art project to work on, so I just went to the art room and I worked on my projects there.
Now,
And-
my best memory of Gear was the final.
Starfish.
We just cut open a starfish. We were done. Now, from what I heard, the biochemistry class now has been cutting open like pigs and sharks and stuff.
I thought they could open cats.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, they did.
No, I think I know where my cat has gone.
Oh, he's dead.
But
Cats are too cute.
I know where your cat went. And went to
oh yeah,
Seth
yeah,
Coughlin.
Seth, I'm calling him out right now. I hate
Seth
you.
Costman, give him back the cat.
Oh no, he killed it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Killing
Calling him
cat.
out.
Okay.
Okay, so anyway, let's
Okay.
get away from
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
Welcome to the last episode of the podcast.
yeah, I have nothing to lose. If I get in trouble by more or something I'm doing, I only have 3 days left. What's he gonna do?
Fire
Suspend you. You're expelled.
Okay, so
1 hour before you graduate.
I can't do
You
that.
don't get a diploma now.
So anyway, I'm sorry, Mr. Moore. Please don't. Not right now.
Do it after he gets out.
Yeah. Just send me a note after graduation says I've been expelled. Okay, so
After you got the
anyway,
diploma and everything.
during the final after we cut open the starfish, Frank had just bought the Cards Against Humanity, the full thing,
Oh,
all the expansion packs, everything. He still has it. The entire class was playing it. It was me and a bunch of people playing it. And Gear was just stumbling around. We said, "Hey, Gear, you want to play some Cards Against Humanity with us?" Sure enough, he joined in. I think he actually won the first game that we played.
See, Gear was pretty cool. Like, not just because he broke the rules, but just in general.
Just didn't teach.
He
Didn't
kind of taught.
He threw it
But-
up on the whiteboard with the projector. Be like, hey, take notes with this.
Well,
Bye.
you're kind of right, but he explained a few things to our class.
Your class was lucky.
I had 7th hour, so
I think
it was like the last minute, and
He really didn't.
he liked to make fun of me,
He liked
but
to make fun
only
of
like in a
everybody.
joking manner. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna.
He was
not.
He was basically a younger version of Tallman.
And shorter.
Butterfield's class.
Oh, Butterfields. I had.
Everyone hated Butterfield
'Cause he
freshman and
hated
sophomore
us.
year.
Okay,
But he
freshman
didn't
year.
hate me.
He
'Cause
loved
I was
me
good
freshman
at
year.
it. Because like I wasn't
I
a
know
complete
for a
idiot.
fact
Like
he hated.
Yeah, he
Dale.
loved me.
I know for a
freshman year.
fact he hated me.
But something I remember from that class, I think it was sophomore year. I was in a class with RJ and Frank. we were sitting at the round table, like by the door. We're about to get out of class, and Frank's just like, "Here, $1 in the middle of the table." And RJ grabbed it first, but I slapped my hand down on top of his, and I grabbed it, and I pulled, and
Did you rip the $1?
I low-key bit his finger to get the $1. But he didn't bleed. I didn't draw
Am
blood.
I surprised? No.
No.
I'm not
Also-
either.
Last year, I think it was.
Remind me never to play spoons with you, by the way.
The singers were practicing outside for the Star Spangled Banner. And Frank's like, "I'll pay you $5 to kick RJ in the back." I'm like, "Bet." And then RJ didn't attack me back because I was paid to do so. He attacked Frank.
Yeah.
Well, that's
So, like,
normal.
it was a win-win for me. Anyway.
I borrowed a
Violence,
box
the
full
best.
of books from Frank, and I've had it for like 2 years, and I still haven't given it back, and I feel really bad about it. I
Sorry,
see
Frank.
it every time I leave my room, but I forgot. I forget to grab it literally every day. But
Grab it Saturday.
yeah.
Just give it to him during graduation.
Another Butterfield thing. I had like over 100% in his class for the second semester. And I got 100% on the final because it was Greek mythology, and that
so
I know Greek mythology. Greek mythology is my
Easton's like,
stuff.
That's Greek mythology is why he hates me. So that 300-point project we had to do,
Yeah.
I only got 100 points because I didn't do it. I was the only one in my class who aced the test, and he was mad about that. That's not what made him mad, though. After that, we watched Percy Jackson, The Lotus Casino.
Mm-hmm.
I'd watched that multiple times. When he took a bite out of the lotus flower, I said, I am quoting here, so I cannot get in trouble, and it's past the expiration date. I said, and I quote, I'm quoting myself here, "Uh-oh, he's about to start tripping balls." This was out loud. in a quiet room. Everyone laughed except I turned and Sutherland he yelled my name.
Butterfield. All of the teachers.
Butterfield yelled my name and he goes, "You do that one more time, I'm kicking you out of my class." So I sort of avoided him for the rest of the year to
Is he
avoid.
coming back?
That's what I heard.
Was he
I don't think he is.
I heard.
I don't think he is because one of the things he wanted to teach here but keep coaching at Andale.
Oh.
That's what I had heard.
I think the only reason that he coached at Andale is because he was
wanted
going to have a college
college,
opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what Barter said.
But one of my other Butterfield things is he would always say, like, if he would play a video, he would say, like, don't fall asleep or anything. I sat right in front of his desk.
Aww.
I slept through that whole thing. I remember, like, little bits and pieces of, like, footage from, like, a war or something, but...
That's nice. Oh, earlier from this year in Barter's class.
I love Mrs. Barter.
So fun.
It's
We were
fun.
playing the game that she picks out a card and it's like, make the sound or something.
Blurt.
Cheers got, yeah, it was Blurt. Cheers got the card. It said, make the sound. And the sound was supposed to be bark. And he's like, bark. And then Barter's like, you know what? That's your nickname now. And
Still calls him Bark.
he goes by Bark in Barter's class. And
Just like I go by Weston and Tallman's.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do have one more story. We're wrapping this up. So, this is a story about how I almost kept someone in the National Honor Society from getting in there.
Oh, no.
Because they had I don't know how this affected them, but, like, apparently she has had straight A's all year, apparently. Like, all throughout the years, and I almost messed that up for her in freshman English. So, we had a project. It was me, this one kid, his name was Bowie, I think. It's not the last
Mark
year.
Cardi.
I don't remember.
Bowie, yeah.
I don't think it's that Bowie. And then it was Macy. We had all done our parts except for, I think his name was Bowie. He had left. Didn't tell anybody, he just disappeared. Like, he left the school. So, apparently, at one point, I didn't have Facebook Messenger on my phone. So, I didn't get any notifications if someone texted me. Apparently, the day before an essay was due, she had texted me, "Hey, did you do the essay?" I had finally installed Messenger about 2 or 3 years later. And I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I didn't do that. And I'm sitting thinking, what would be the most inappropriate response? No. I just said no. And so now she will not let me forget that I almost cost her the National Honor Society spot.
she's fine.
She's fine.
She's in there.
You're fine.
It's fine.
You're in. It's fine.
Spoiler warning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. I'm going to spoil the Titanic. It sinks.
Spoils Endgame.
I think, well, actually, what day is it? The
You want to
6th?
know who dies?
I saw
It's the 6th? It is the 6th. It is more than appropriate to spoil Endgame. That is my opinion.
Do it.
Please don't. Not while I'm here.
Oh, I didn't know you hadn't seen it.
Because
haven't.
that's my if you have not watched it, but a week after
Some
it
of
came
us
out, you
don't
do not
like-
care.
Some of us don't
Here's
like,
the
you
truth
know,
about
have
comic
this.
books.
Not American
Superheroes
science.
never really die. They come back after a while.
Tell that to Captain America.
Oh, that's a Black Widow. And Iron Man. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you go Snap, but also remember we had that like
Well, Thanos wasn't the only one who did the.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
cool.
Like everyone
giving
was trying to
somebody-
grab at that
Came
glove. They're
back.
like, "Oh yeah, I can do it. I'm dying." Like,
Okay.
We'll
whoa.
just put a spoiler warning tag on.
Everyone's seen the
Captain America dies.
the memes
I'm kidding.
where
No.
where the memes where Ant-Man
Oh no, we're not going into that. Everyone
Hold
who
on.
knows
One
it.
last
Ant-Man
thing.
memes.
One last story.
That's all we need.
It's not really a senior story, but yesterday the whole tornado sirens, everyone's gonna
I was
die,
outside.
whatever. Yeah, it's
I was
relaxing.
driving home from my boyfriend's house.
My mother and stepfather left my stepsister alone with my brother. He's 1 and with 2 dogs. I was gone on like an errand or whatever, I don't really remember. And my friends start telling me, "Hey, there's gonna be tornadoes, sirens, and whatever." I'm like, "Oh, I'll just call my mom, be like, hey, get to the shelter. And then I get a text message, I'm busy, text me. I'm like, get to a shelter. And then I call Logan. I'm like, hey, what's up? Where is everyone? She's like, they went to go see Endgame. I'm at home with the baby and 2 dogs. I'm like, well, I guess you're goofed. And so, yeah, that's
There's
that.
tornadoes and you go see Endgame. Priorities.
Yeah. And then my mom's
The end of
like,
the world,
she's
as we know
complaining
it.
to me. She's like, oh, they stuffed us in this tiny hole, and now we have to wait till the storm is really far away. I'm like, that's your problem. That's your fault.
Don't go see a movie in the storm.
That's the best time.
I mean,
there's that entire scene of Twister where they're at a drive-in movie theater. And
well,
it
if you're
destroys
there,
them.
you're
How
already
old
there.
are you?
Huh?
You never seen Twister?
No, I saw it in like 5th grade.
I watched it once at my
I went and saw it in
great-grandma's house
IMAX at
during a
Cosmosphere.
Anyway,
All right.
Yep.
No more quick stories?
9.
All right. Thank you for joining us on the last Senior Memories podcast. Thank you two for being here. We may have another one. I don't know. Depends if people would sign up. It's been in the announcements. It's right there.
They don't care, Easton.
All right. Good
They
talk.
just want to leave.
All right.
It's okay.
Juniors, if they want to sign up, wait until
No.
next year.
Yeah. Wait till next year when I'm not here. Goodbye. Say goodbye. Say goodbye.
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 Goodbye. Goodbye,
Zap,
Easton.
zap,